Now, before going any further, in the previous video, you can see the bottom of the shock absorber here. That goes on to the plate, and this plate goes onto the bump rubber at the bottom there. And when you replace it, you must have it the right way round. Otherwise, see, that way it would miss it. And this needs to be engaged on that rubber, so it has to be the right way round for that to bear on the plate. You can see it the right way round there, and this plate must come out, obviously, because to gain access to the bolts at the bottom of the shock absorber. So that is just held in with the long bolt coming through here. Obviously I'll put it in from the other direction, put it in that way around, but that needs to come off before you can get the shock absorber out. That's fairly obvious, but I thought I'd... Now the next thing I'm doing is to release the sides of the bottom wishbone. 11/16, just crack it with a bar. Both of those cracked, and the one at the top. And what I do is I'm going to take off one side, take this side off, and take this side off, leave the rest of it supported. So I'll do the right hand side first of all, then put everything back, and then take the left hand side off. Then everything will line up. That's the way I'm doing it. And then I can change the bushes and check the bottom trunnion bushes, and if necessary change the trunnion. I'm just about to take off the bottom track rod joint, which is now fully exposed, so I can get at it easily. So 9/16 here to take these two off, 1/2 inch right down at the bottom, the two small bolts there, and 11/16 at the top here. So there's the 11/16 nut off there, the two 9/16s off there. That's now broken. That'll come off, and that's the first stage. I've access now to the rubber bushes, which are absolutely shot. I've just shown you now how this plate goes back on. You see the way the crank goes on there. The 11/16 nut is off, and the 11/16 nut off this end of the bottom wishbone. It's been a bit of a struggle getting this. This is a split washer here. I left the nut on to stop me damaging the thread on the trunnion in case I don't have to change, but getting this off, it is like a split thrush washer. It's in two halves. Anyway, it's off now. A lot of easing oil and gentle tapping, and off she's come. Two things here. You can see how worn that nylon bush is there, off centre. That's very floppy on the other end, and on this end the bronze bush that for the bottom of the trunnion. You can see how floppy that is. Whether I just need a new bearing and then ream it in, I'll check a new bearing on the shoulder of the trunnion, and if it's not too floppy or if it's a good fit, I won't replace the trunnion, but I have got a new trunnion to put on there, and I've shown reaming out the trunnion bushes in a previous. There you can see there's a new bearing. It's too floppy on there, so I'll change the whole trunnion. Even the fact that will tighten up when it's pressed into the wishbone, that is still too floppy, so new bottom. Before I unscrew the trunnion, I just point out at this point here, you have to take out this nut and this stud, but note that the stud is eccentric. It's off centre, and that is the method that when you put it back on again, you must turn it to give your steering lock, because that turns and bumps up against this point and the opposite point, and that gives you your lock. And by having this turned you can see the movement between the two stops here. That will give you your, if you don't have it set correctly. Now I want to show you three things here. These bolts, the bolt that hold the steering arm on, these two are different lengths. The spacer, there's a spacer there, that both are the same length, but the bolts are different because of the thickness there and there. But the remaining two bolts, this one here and the one on the other side, are all different lengths. You must keep them separate and put them back on, obviously the right way. This plate has got to come completely off, otherwise you can't unscrew the trunnion. But the other thing I'd like to show you, on the trunnion you can see the angle in relation to the vertical. That is why the left and the right hand are completely separate. You can't, they're not interchangeable, and left won't fit right and right won't fit left. So important. The tab washers, I've knocked off on those. I haven't broken the track rod end yet because the tool is missing. I've ordered a new one and it should be here any minute now. Right, I've just put new bushes in the bottom of the shock absorber. An important thing to do is when you tighten up the bolt here, when you tighten it up, it squeezes it in. Make sure it's tight enough so that the bolts fit properly. If you over tighten it or under tighten it, then you'll have difficulty getting this on later on, and could damage the threads. Just like you to note that the upper wishbone, the upper one, if you look, that is the forward one. That's the one that goes on the forward side, has got a different curvature to the other one. They won't fit any other way, obviously, left and right. I've put the new polyurethane bushes in there, which are a split bush on this, and I'll do the other side. I've stripped the whole thing down now. All the top sections are out, and I've just got to take the bottom wishbone off now. Very difficult to get at, but that'll be